This morning, the U.S. Secret Service believes it disrupted a plot that could have collapsed the entire telecommunications system in New York City. And law enforcement sources tell ABC News it's believed to be connected to the Chinese government. Officials say several individuals, including at least one with direct access to the president, began receiving threats this spring. In recent weeks, investigators tracked those threats to multiple locations in and around New York, where they said they seized hundreds of servers and more than 100,000 SIM cards. Enough equipment to send 30 million anonymous text messages every minute. Overwhelming communications.
They found empty apartments with servers and server walls capable of making millions and millions of phone calls in and around New York City and the world that could potentially cripple New York City and other parts of the world.
There are no arrests yet. The apartments where the equipment was found were empty. Investigators suspect the alleged plot is the work of a well-organized and well-funded group that law enforcement sources say is believed to be linked to China. Now, the Secret Service is still working to determine what all the equipment was meant to do and whether there was a specific target. But as one official put it, guys, the potential for disruption to the country's telecommunications posed by this network of devices cannot be overstated.
Shalom. All praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach on Ruwell, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akyam, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth of risk of their own lives throughout the four corners of the earth. To the Akwath listening and learning in sincerity and in truth and in silence, Shalom. This is your brother Shema from the GMS Toronto camp here in Toronto. Here with another lesson, right? And nothing too long, you know. But this is some news that came out this morning, you know. And listen, this devil, Esau Edom, he's always gonna tell you what he's gonna do before he does it, you know. And the Lord is putting the spirit on Esau's elites to move because they know they have but a short time, right? And something like this would lead to a grid down situation. I wanted to open with a scripture, right? And you see it was a news this morning. Secret Service foils massive plot to cripple NYC cell network and threaten UN General Assembly. But I wanted to open with a scripture because, you know, a grid down situation, right? That's all hell breaking loose, man. Right? 2nd Ezra 8 and 50. And it reads, for many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time. Right? Many great miseries. Right? And we're in the latter time. That in the latter time shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride. Right? And who's more proud than the Edomite? Right? Esau Edom, beginning with his elites. Who's more proud than the Edomite? Right? Babylon the Great, America the Great, the hub city of America. Salakia, the hub city of these elites, the hub city of Edom. Right? Many great miseries. But I wanted to ask Chat. A question. Right? What would grid What would a grid down situation in America cause after 7 days? A grid down situation in America, a complete failure of the electrical grid nationwide, would have rapidly cascading effects. And after 7 days, things will be very serious. Here's a breakdown of likely consequences by that point. Right? 1, power and the communication. Still no electricity for homes, businesses, or critical infrastructure. Cell towers begin failing as backup generators run out of fuel. Communication becomes spotty to non-existent. Internet is almost entirely down. Only shortwave and ham radios might work, right? And who has a shortwave or ham radio in 2025? Nobody, man. right? Nobody. Water and sanitation. Everyone's got cell phones, right? Water and sanitation. Water treatment plants would no longer be functioning in most areas, right? And what would that cause, man? Disease. Top water in cities would stop flowing or become unsafe. Toilets stop working, leading to sanitation crisis and disease risk. Scripture just came to mind. 2 Ezra 5. So I guess 2 Ezra 6. Second Esdras. It's in Second Esdras. Second Ezra 6, verse 24, it reads, "At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies," right? When all hell breaks loose, a grid down situation breaks loose, 1 week in, friends are going to fight one another like enemies. "And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein," right? A vibration of fear. Women going to be cowering, looking for protection, right? Men are going to turn into savage mode, right? Deleting and being deleted, right? "The springs of the fountains shall stand still," right? The springs of the fountains. This is a twofold scripture, right? Because this truth is likened unto rivers of living water, but also physical, access to water, A grid goes down, there's water ain't running no more, man. Right? "Therefore," so like it, "the springs of the fountains shall stand still," right? "And in 3 hours they shall not run." Right? And the Lord's going to remove his men. The men aren't going to be prophesying. The grid going to be down. Videos aren't going to be pumped up, aren't going to be, will not be pumped out. Right? Listen, a grid down situation. Right? All hell breaking loose. Let's continue with this. It says here, we just read water and sanitation. "Toilets stop working, leading to sanitation crisis and disease risk." Right? Disease. Feces-related diseases. Right? "Food supply. Grocery stores will be picked clean by day 2 or 3. Refrigerated and frozen food spoiled by now. Trucks can't deliver food because fuel stations rely on electricity for pumps. Hunger begins to set in for millions, especially urban populations." Right? Scripture just came to mind. Especially urban populations. It's in the Apocrypha. Second Ezra 6. And Second Ezra 16 and 19. "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment." Right? Amendment means correction. The Lord sends plagues to correct. Right? Verse 20. "But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Verse 21, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, right? Victuals is food, right? The time, listen, people have been at a settled on their lees vibration for many, many years, man. Food's cheap, interest rates low, all is good, right? They think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, right? Sword, famine, and great confusion, right? Even then evils are growing upon the earth. Verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, right? So you escape starving to death, right? You're going to get deleted, a violent death. Verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, right? No ambulance services, no embalming services. You know, the process of death when a society is intact. Oh, the mourning, the mortician takes the body, they embalm the body, they put it in a casket, they have a ceremony. None of that's going to take place in the time of Jacob's trouble. 2 Kings 16 and 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down, right? All hell breaking loose, right? It goes on to read here. Hunger begins to set in for millions, especially her urban population, right? There's a scripture that came to mind. Let me see if I can find it. Ezekiel 7, verse 15. It reads, the sword is without, right? The sword, right? Outside heavily populated areas, right? The sticks, right? A lot of doomsday preppers. They've stockpiled weapons. They have bunkers, right? The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within, right? The cities, heavy populated areas, man, right? Disease and famine is going to ravage. You know, look at urban areas, man. Apartment buildings everywhere, people on top of each other. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, right? He that's in the bush, right? The sticks, the rural areas, they're going to delete and be deleted. And he that is in this city, right, the urban areas, famine and pestilence shall devour them, right? All hell breaking loose, Jacob's trouble. Goes on to read here. Healthcare. Hospitals run out of generator fuel. Life support equipment shuts down. Medicine supply chains break. Insulin, antibiotics, heart medications run out. Rising deaths from lack of medical care. Oh, listen, bodies, man. That's bodies. Transportation and fuel. Almost no gasoline or diesel available. Pumps don't work. Airports and train systems shut down. Local travel is limited to walking, biking, or vehicles with fuel already in the tank. Law and order. Police stretched thin or overwhelmed. Many officers stay home to protect their families. Looting and violence increase as desperation grows. Organized gangs or groups may begin seizing resources. Let's get that one in 2 Ezra 15. Right? And listen, all roads lead to the MOTB. Esau's elites have to collapse this thing to bring a solution. Order out of chaos. Right? Order out of chaos. Bring the chaos and then present a solution. What's the solution that these elites are going to bring? The MOTB, the CHIP. Second Ezra 15, verse 17. A man shall have desire, Salakia. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? Checkpoints, 15-minute cities. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Right? All hell breaking loose vibration of heavy fear. Women cowering, looking for protection. Men being savage mode, testosterone on 10, deleting and being deleted, and great fear, right? Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, right? The sword being a killing instrument. What's the modern day killing instrument? The blicky, right? Spoil their goods, take whatever it is they have. Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, right? No food, food insecurity. Shell has been picked clean. We just read it. What a grid down situation would entail, right? So people are going to turn on one another, right? Organized gangs or groups may begin seizing resources, right? That scripture came to mind. I think it's in these elites always tell you what they're going to do before they do it. 2 Ezra 16 verse 31. Second Ezra 16 and 31. Even so, in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search. Let me read up. Second Ezra 16 and 28. For Second Ezra 16 and 27. So that one, you know what? Second Ezra 16 and 26. The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. Right? Some scenes from I Am Legend. So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. Right? People going to be hiding. Right? Marauders, clicked up, grouped up. As in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so, in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. Right? So men are going to click up, those with the blickies, the sticks, and they're going to go from house to house looking for resources. Right? Organized gangs or groups may begin seizing resources, economy and safety. Banks and ATMs useless. No electronic payments. Barter begins in small communities. Panic, confusion, and desperation are widespread. Right? Scriptures say they shall cast their silver and their gold in the streets. Right? Your money gonna be useless. Physical currency gonna be useless. ATM ain't gonna be working. E-transfer ain't gonna be working. It's a grid down scenario. Right? By day 7, the U.S. will be in a full-blown survival scenario. Cities will be the worst hit due to population density and lack of resources. Rural areas would fare better, but supply shortages would still cause major problems. Right? And listen, man, all hell gonna break loose out here. You know, the time of Jacob's trouble is, scripture say, a time like no other. Right? Let's close with that. Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah 30 and 7. And it reads, alas, Jeremiah 30 and 6, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Right? Does a man give birth? Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail. Right? Jeremiah saw men holding their bellies in grief. And all faces are turned into paleness. Right? The blood, you know, when you're scared, The blood runs from your face. You become pale. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, right? The elect, Lord willing, we have that number, shall be saved out of it, right? Great tribulation, a time like never before. A time, it says here, none is like it. Right, and Lord willing, we are of that number, the hopeful elect, man. You are going to need to be of the elect to survive what is coming. You're going to have that spiritual mark of exemption, the thawa, to survive what is coming. And only the elect will have the mark of exemption. I pray edified. Call Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the teacher and rule well. Shalom to the elect.